Hello and welcome back to my channel. Last month, 12 songs in Just Dance Plus that had bad tracking are fixed. And this month, they did the same but with 18 songs. Also last month, I made a video where I tested every song out, so I'm going to do that again. Now, let's start the video. The first song I tested out was Bangarang Extreme version. Now to things. 1. I tested a couple of these songs on Wednesday and most of them on Saturday. I did this so I didn't have to test 18 songs in one dance session. So if this chapter has day 1 in its name, that's why. And 2. I hadn't done this map before it was fixed. I never had energy to play this map in dance sessions, so I can't really do an accurate review of this map. So I think my prefix score would have been in this range. Fun fact, this was probably my second time playing this map. I played every map that was on Just Dance Unlimited and I doubt I touched that map until now. So I think that I did pretty well on this map for a second try that you'll see later. But first, this coach's name is Smoke. If you didn't watch my last video, I talked about the coaches' names and if I thought they fit or not. In my opinion it does. It seems like a cool nickname and he seems like a cool guy. My score after the fix was 12,115 with 4 OKs, 15 goods, 20 for supers, 90 perfects, and I got all of the gold moves. I'm pretty sure the OKs and most of the goods were from the sequence that is currently on screen, as I wasn't sure what to do. Just had to show you guys the whole sequence, but anyway, moving on. The second map I tested out was Istanbul not Constantinople. Now this one I had done before the fix, and it definitely was broken. I had done it once or twice before this and my highest score was 9,944, which is for stars. I had 56 perfects, 8 supers, 15 goods, 17 OKs, and I did all of the gold moves. Before we get to my new score, these coaches didn't receive names. Spoiler alert, a lot of these coaches didn't get names, so I've decided to name them myself. I'm naming the first coach Peru the Parrot, the second coach Sasha the Shark, the third coach Zane the Zebra, and the fourth coach Ricky the Rat. The coach I selected was Ricky. My score after the fix was 13,052, which is a megastar. The feedback I got was 1 OK, 5 supers, 98 perfects, and all of the gold moves. This makes Istanbul my first 13K of the video. Also, I placed for 129 out of the 100,614 players on the leaderboard. I'm only going to include my leaderboard placements if I place in the top 1,000, so if I don't include where I placed on certain maps, that's why. Anyway, my score after the fix increased by 3,108. The third song I tested out was Sexy and I Know It. I only played this one once before the fix and I would say it didn't have awful tracking, but it wasn't great, so I'd say it was somewhat broken. My before the fix score was 11,357 with 89 perfects, 49 supers, 30 goods, 5 OKs, and both of the gold moves, meaning I had a superstar. This coach doesn't have a name, so I tried to pick a name for him. I was stuck between the different names, which were Richie and Lamar, so I will let you guys decide in the comment, and I will probably make a community post. My score after the fix was 12,957 with 2 OKs, 1 good, 10 supers, and 150 perfects, meaning I got a megastar. I also placed 375 out of the 187,670 players on the leaderboard, meaning my score after the fix increased by 1,600. The fourth song I tested out was Lacrimosa. I don't know when I last played this map and have no memory of playing it, but I guess I did. My score before the fix was 11,196, with 70 to perfects, 31 supers, 15 goods, 6 OKs, 1 X, and I got the only gold move. Just like the last map, I think the tracking for this one was somewhat broken based on the score I had. This map also is pretty weird. The song is, the background somewhat is, but the most weird thing is this coach's lack of a name. That was a pretty good transition, right? Anyway, I named him
Combattant
because it means fighter in French. My score after the fix was 12,952 with 1 OK, 2 goods, 7 supers, 115 perfects, and I got the only gold move. I also placed 525 out of the 34,128 players on the leaderboard, so my score after the fix increased by 1756. The fifth song and first song I tested out on Saturday was Te Dominar. I know for a fact this one was broken. I remember playing this one during the showdown season and being annoyed that I couldn't get a good score on it. I don't think I've done this one since then because it was broken. But the highest score I could get to before the fix was 9,909, with 65 perfects, 30 supers, 18 goods, 17 okays, for X's, and I got all of the gold moves. Before you hear what my score after the fix was, these coaches didn't receive names. I decided to name the middle coach Valentina, and the other coaches are irrelevant to me, so no names for them. The coach I chose was obviously Valentina. After the fix, my score was 12,803, with 0 X's and okays, 9 goods, 11 supers, 109 perfects, and I got all 3 of the gold moves. I also placed 389 out of the 28,039 players on the leaderboard, so my score improved by 2,890 for after the tracking was fixed. The sixth song I tested out was I Love Rock and Roll. My score before the fix was 11,930, with 107 perfects, 20 to supers, 8 goods, 7 okays, and I got all of the gold moves. So based on that, I would say this one wasn't broken and didn't need to be fixed. As you might be able to guess, this coach didn't receive a name. I decided to name her Queen. I have 2 reasons for this. First, this is a rock song and Queen is an iconic rock band, and second, she has a crown on. Queen wasn't my first option, as I would have picked Sasha because of her sash, but I already named one of the Istanbul coaches the same name. My score after the fix was 12,382 with 11 goods, 38 supers, 99 perfects, and all of the gold moves, meaning my score only increased by 452. The 7th song I tested out was Sayonara. The score I had before the fix was 11,664, with 133 perfects, 35 supers, 20 for goods, 7 okays, to X's, and I got all of the gold moves. This is another map that I don't think was broken and didn't need a fix. My score was probably a little low because this map is pretty hard and tiring. This coach does not have a name, just like over half of these coaches. I decided to name her
Hayai,
which means fast in Japanese. Why? Because this map is fast. My score after the fix was 12,244 with 5 okays, 18 goods, 26 supers, 150 to perfects, and I got all 3 gold moves. The okays and some of the goods were from one of these slashing moves, I don't remember which, and this move that I don't have a name for, but anyway, my score only increased by 580 after the fix. The 8th song I tested out was She's Got Me Dancing. The score I had before the fix was 10,605, with 100 to perfects, 20 to supers, 7 goods, 21 okays, for X's, and I got all of the gold moves. This one was very much broken and in need of a fix. I hated how bad the tracking was because I really liked this one, and I could barely play it. Here are some moves that I remember being the worst for tracking. Unfortunately, this silly little guy didn't get a name. I decided to name him Jimmy Stars. It's kind of like one of the parody names they've done, such as Talia Sway being the coach for a Taylor Swift map, and Joshua being the coach for a Justin Bieber map. After the fix, my score was 12,945, with 1 okay, 13 supers, 140 to perfects, and I got all of the gold moves. I'm pretty sure the only okay from the pointing at the ground move that I showed earlier. Anyway, I placed 616 out of the 26,205 players on the world leaderboard. My score after the fix increased by 2,340. The 9th song I tested out was This Is How We Do. I know for a fact this one was broken. The alternative version was also broken, but got fixed when it was put into the fitness music pack. Then they fixed 2 songs in March, which gave me hope they would fix this map. Once they announced they were fixing multiple maps, I thought this would easily be one of the first to be fixed, but it wasn't. Anyway, my score before the fix was 10,542, with 79 perfects, 29 supers, 20 for goods, 8 okays, 5 X's, and I got every gold move. These girls don't have names, which I was for some reason surprised by. I named the first coach Carrie, the second one Katie, the third one Kaylee, and the fourth one Christy. I made all of their names start with K because Katy Perry's name starts with K. They also did a similar thing with the Baby One More Time coaches. I played as Katie. After the fix, my score was 12,666, with 1 X, 2 OKs and goods, 19 supers, 137 perfects, and I got every gold move. With this new score, I placed 730 out of the 82,753 players on the leaderboard. After the fix, my score increased by 2,124. The 10th song I tested out was That's the Way I Like It. Before the fix, my score was 11,106, with 117 perfects, 33 supers, 8 goods and OKs, 7 X's, and I got every gold move. This one was a bit broken. Some of the JD1 maps on Just Dance Plus have very interesting tracking, and this was one of them. Unsurprisingly, this goofball has no name. I'm not that surprised because almost none of the JD1 coaches have names. I wanted to name him Casey, but I didn't because it felt too easy to name him after the artist, so I decided to name him JT. After the fix, my score was 13,165, with 2 goods, 5 supers, 166 perfects, and I got every gold move. Making this my second 13K of the video. I placed 730 out of the 82,753 players with this 13,000. My score increased by 2,059 after the tracking was a fix. The 11th song I tested out was Want to Want Me. I already know this one was broken. Before the fix, my score was 10,817, with 90 perfects, 20 to supers, 13 goods, 11 OKs, 1 X, and I got none of the gold moves. I've only gotten the gold moves a couple times, but I think I've only gotten both of them in one go, if that makes sense, which is weird to me because it's the same move twice with no variation. This coach does not have a name. I considered Jason as a possibility, but that's too easy. I also considered Jesse, but one of the 2 for K-Magic coaches has that name, but I ended up picking Shade for 2 reasons. 1. He has sunglasses, and 2. I finished watching Building the Band 1 or 2 weeks ago and a guy named Shade was on there. After the fix, my score was 12,899, with 1 OK, 2 goods, 10 supers, 120 for perfects, and I finally got both gold moves. I also placed 526 out of the 57,057 players with this new score. After the tracking was fixed, my score increased by 2,082. The 12th song I tested out was Tum Bum. I've only done this one twice before the fix, and on my first try I got 10,535, with 93 perfects, 35 supers, 16 goods, 17 OKs, for X's, and I got every gold move. On my first try, I thought I got a bad score because it was my first time playing this extreme in a couple of years since JDU. Even though I thought I ate it up, I did it for a second time after they announced it was being fixed to see if it was broken and see if any specific moves were specifically broken. I know there were some moves, but I don't remember because it was 2 weeks ago. Yes, I have been working on this video for 2 weeks. My motivation for editing this has went up and down various times. Anyway, no name for this coach. I searched up African girl names because I knew I couldn't come up with a good name. I decided to pick Folik, so sorry if this TTS mispronounced that. It's a Yoruba name that means to bestow the highest honor. After the fix, my score was 12,677, with 1 OK, 10 goods, 15 supers, 131 perfects, and I got every gold move. It's not a 13K, but it did surpass applause as my highest score on an extreme. I also placed 494 out of the 29,435 players on the leaderboard. My score after the fix increased by 2,142. The 13th song I tested out was Cake by the Ocean Earphones version. This one was definitely broken and should have been fixed before the main version was. I feel like the chorus was the most broken part, but I don't remember any moves that were specifically the worst. My score before the fix was 10,545, with 75 perfects, 45 supers, 31 goods, 8 OKs, and I surprisingly got every gold move. Surprisingly, these coaches have names. The first coach is Marin and the second one is Dylan. I feel like these names fit. I don't have a reason, I just think they do. After the fix, my score was 12,641 with 3 OKs, 6 goods, 12 supers, 138 perfects, and all of the gold moves. This new score placed me at 655 out of the 79,175 players on the world leaderboard. After the tracking was fixed, my score increased by 2,096. The 14th song I tested out was Another One Bites the Dust Stump version. My score before the fix was 11,715, with 70 for perfects, 43 supers, 14 goods, 3 OKs, 1 OK, and I got every gold move. I honestly don't think this one was broken and didn't need a fix. I had only done this one 2 to 3 times before the fix, and my score was probably low because this map is hard. This coach does have a name, which is Vic. I don't think it fits. I feel like he needed more. I named him Randy Stakes in a video on my TikTok from a year ago, and I feel like that's a good name. After the fix, my score was 12,791 with 7 goods, 13 supers, 115 perfects, and I got every gold move. This new score placed me 617 out of the 124,673 players on the leaderboard. After the tracking was fixed, my score increased by 1,075. The 15th song I tested out was Baby One More Time. My score before the fix was 11,025, with 91 perfects, 33 supers, 26 goods, 9 OKs, for X's, and every gold move. This one was very much broken. I used to have 5 stars on this one, but I did this one a little bit before the fix, and that's when I got a superstar. I can't think of any specific moves, but it definitely was broken and was in need of a fix. These ladies do have names. I think all of these names fit because they all start with B, just like Britney's name. After the fix, my score was 12,816, with 4 goods, 18 supers, 141 perfects, and I'm assuming I got every gold move. This one's tracking felt very different and was definitely improved after the fix. My score increased by 1,791 after the fix. The 16th song I tested out was I Get Around. This one definitely needed a fix. Its tracking was really bad. Prefix, my score was 10,387, with 71 perfects, 20 supers, 25 goods, 11 OKs, for X's, and both gold moves. The only move that I remember being broken was this pointing move. Unsurprisingly, this coach does not have a name. I think his name could be Harold because this song is from the 60s and it seems like a 60s name. Post-fix, my score was 12,546, with 10 goods, 19 supers, 100 to perfects, and both gold moves. After the fix, my score increased by 2,159. The 17th and penultimate song I tested out was I Want You Back. This was a bit tricky to score on, but I don't think it was that broken. Prefix, my score was 10,806 with 109 perfects, 13 supers, 11 goods, 13 OKs, 5 X's, and every gold move. This guy doesn't have a name. I decided to name him Jax because it's similar to Jackson, like the Jackson 5. Post-fix, my score was 13,164 with 2 goods, 5 supers, 140 to perfects, and every gold move. This 13,000 placed me at 148 out of the 94,547 players on the leaderboard. My score increased by 2,358 after the fix. The 18th and final song I tested out was Rock and Roll. I know for a fact this one was very broken. Prefix, my score was 9,511 with 47 perfects, 38 supers, 39 goods, 19 OKs, and I got every gold move. I remember literally crying after I played this map for the first time and getting a bad score because I guessed it that in like 2023. This coach doesn't have a name, so I decided to name her Jade. Post-fix, my score was 11,706 with 1 OK, 25 goods, 37 supers, 80 perfects, and I got every gold move. After the tracking got fixed, my score increased by 2,195. Thank you so much for watching. I'll add a little ranking of all of these maps based on how broken they are in the description, so go check that out. Here are the songs I thought didn't need a fix. The ones that somewhat needed a fix. And the ones that badly needed a fix. Let me know what you thought about this video by liking and commenting. And if you want me to rank these maps on any way based on how broken they are, comment and I'll put it on my community tab. Click on these recommended videos and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, bye.